From the campus of the University of Kentucky, you're listening to Behind the Blue. I'm Cody Kaiser with UK Strategic Communications.
You never really know what you don't know. You think, hey, I might not be interested in that career, but if you find yourself in front of a future employer, saying, this might just change my mind, broaden my horizons. It's such a healthy thing to get that spark going about what you might want to do as you leave UK, as that future stares you in the face. It's such a good opportunity to have both in the room, and agribusiness is going to be great.
That's Seth DeBolt, Director of UK's James B. Beam Institute for Kentucky Spirits, and one of three guests joining this episode of Behind the Blue to discuss the Kentucky Signature Industries Career Fair, hosted by the University of Kentucky's Martin Gatton College of Agriculture, Food, and Environment. What began as a scheduling coincidence has grown into a major opportunity for students across the university and beyond to explore careers in three of the Commonwealth's most iconic sectors: equine, spirits, and agribusiness. On this episode of Behind the Blue, DeBolt is joined by Savannah Robin, lecturer in career and professional development for ag equine programs, and Aslihan Spaulding, department chair and professor of agricultural economics. Together, they talk about the expanding scope of this interdisciplinary event, how UK programs are embedding workforce readiness into the classroom, and why events like this are essential for building the future of Kentucky's economy. I would like to first off thank our guests, Seth DeBolt, Aslihan Spaulding, and Savannah Robin for being with us on Behind the Blue. First things to kick off with a quick overview for listeners who may not be familiar. And Savannah, since we talked about this last year, maybe I'll let you kind of get things rolling on this. What is the Kentucky Signature Industries Career Fair, and why is it such a valuable event for students and employers?
Yeah, so the Signature Industries Career Fair was born out of an interdisciplinary collaborative spirit between a couple programs that were doing their own fairs. So coming from the equine side, we had been doing an equine career fair for a number of years. And a big reason for that was because a lot of our employers wanted to be in the room with students specifically seeking careers and spaces in their own area. And so we wanted to be able to bring all those employers, and knowing that we are in Central Kentucky, which is a big, the horse capital of the world, we wanted to be able to create a space that created that environment. And at the same time, the Beam Institute was also hosting their own fair in a similar fashion. And so we, in an accident, scheduled our fairs for the same day in the student center. And when Ilka and I found out, we were like, how can we make this something really special and join them together? And so we've been going through, this will be our fourth year in collaboration. And this year now, we're really excited to be able to bring on the agribusiness industries as well. Kentucky is very rich in agricultural history in a wide variety of spaces. And so being able to bring on our agribusiness employers is really important. And many of them overlap and cross-collaborate. So they're not just distillation employers, they're also agribusinesses. And some of them are also connected into the equine industry as well. And so that just seemed like a really natural fit to bring them all together, and really having our students and employers see the magnitude of these industries all in one space and represented on our campus is really, really important, because then they get to see that there's a future for them within those spaces and in these careers, but also in Kentucky. And they might be able to find a home here in the future as well.
Well, last year was, like you were saying, this happy accident of being scheduled and so coming together. How did the fair go last year? And what really stood out about this combined event that made you realize we've really got something here?
Something I really noticed is that the students from the equine side, they'd moonlight over and pop over and have a look at what the distilleries were doing, and vice versa. You never really know what you don't know. You think, hey, I might not be interested in that career, but if you find yourself in front of a future employer, saying, this might just change my mind, broaden my horizons. It's such a healthy thing to get that spark going about what you might want to do as you leave UK, as that future stares you in the face. It's such a good opportunity to have both in the room, and agribusiness is going to be great.
So yeah, let's talk a little bit about agribusiness and introducing that to the fair. This seems obviously like another kind of perfect match for this. Talk a little bit about how this kind of came to be to bring this element into it.
Sure. The Department of Agricultural Economics hosted its own agribusiness and related industries career fair for many years. It was a very small scale boutique style fair. And last year I attended the Signature Industries and I was very, very pleased to see the magnitude of the fair. And I'm like, wow. And some of the businesses there were also in our career fair. I'm like, there's a synergy here. We can take advantage of it and help and complement each other's work. So I approached Savannah and Nilka. I said, how do you feel about joining? Or are you going to allow us to join you in a way? Because they are doing a fabulous job with it. And they accepted. And we joined them this year. And it's been going really well. And I'm really excited about it because agribusiness, it includes anything from agricultural, from farm to fork approach across the supply chain on agriculture and food businesses. Equine is agribusiness, distillation is agribusiness. So I think there's room for us, and I'm just happy that they let us in.
One of the things that I think, and maybe we touched on this last year when we talked about this, that I think really probably stands out to students is you have students who are in the College of Agriculture, Food and Environment who may not be exposed to every part of the college and may not really know, like they're thinking I'm going to go into this particular area. But then when they're able to attend something like this, they really see that there's just like boundless opportunities for them with that degree of directions that they can go that maybe they hadn't thought about before of how, as you said, the synergy there of they can see like, oh, I thought I was going to apply my degree towards this, but I could actually do several things that I never even thought about before.
Yeah, I think the other thing too, on top of that, when you talk about some of our students that go and they think, oh, maybe I want to do marketing for the equine industry. Well, there's marketing positions in all these different spaces, or tourism, and bringing people to the state. And how do we tell the story of what Kentucky is doing? And that's commonly threaded throughout all of them as well. But a lot of these employers are also hiring students from so many different spaces. So, even our horse farms are looking for people to manage the landscaping and to choose and select the plants that they're going to be able to put out in their horticultural spaces. And so being able to market that to other students too. So I think that's a great point, that it's not just the traditional student that might be getting a degree in something. It's also helping these employers connect with students across our campus that may have skill sets that they might need, whether that's in accounting or marketing or, one of the other wide varieties of things, computer sciences, data analytics, things like that. Like all of these companies and businesses need that. And so here we can provide that support and resource to not only the student population across the campus, but also to the employers as well.
I'll add that I think you're crazy as a student if you don't go to every one of these career fairs you can possibly go to. You'll meet somebody who you think that's what you want to do, and you can get talking to them and get an idea of what your life your career is going to look like. You don't get that opportunity all the time. People really love to share with students and introduce them to their world, and seeing that world through their eyes gets you a bit of a sense for what you're going to be walking into. So we have a lot of engineers in our program, as well as a lot of folks from ag and food science, and they all just get a lot from those interactions. So if you're a student listening to this, get on down there, because you'll meet a whole host of different people and jump around to the different areas, talk to people. And they're so excited to talk to the students as well. So I know it's hard to get time out of your day to make that down there. And some people are juggling late classes, but we'll try to have some snacks and make it worth your while.
I do want to ask, as far as like the student experience with this from last year, was there a lot of buzz generated? I think it's a good thing to point out too, this is open to, it's not just cafe students.
It's open to all majors.
It's not just engineering students. It's open to all majors. Did you have a lot of buzz generated after this last year and the first one that and it came together, and you have students kind of looking forward, talking about it as far as like upcoming, this year?
Yeah, we've grown. I mean, from the first time that we did it, we had, 200 students for equine and then 3. And then, we doubled in size when we joined together the first time. And last year we had close to 600 job seekers. And that's really exciting. So we're anticipating hopefully even more, but it's not just across the university, but also across the state. We have students who want to go into these spaces, and because and these are Kentucky signature industries, we want to support some of our regional institutions and other places too that are trying to find these careers and spaces. And so we've opened up to other students from across other universities. Last year we had 12 different universities represented, and I think we had 80 different majors last year.
Wow.
And so that even speaks to the scope and of the interest in it as well. And those 12 different universities were not just in Kentucky. We had students coming from other states as well, because they're coming here because they want to be a part of that industry. So hopefully we can continue growing that. I think at some point we will hopefully see some of our alums that seek to maybe make those relationships too, that are looking for jobs. But right now we're seeing alums come back and being represented by the employers. And so they're graduating and they're saying, hey, this was a really impactful experience for me as a student. So I want to come back and, to Seth's point, tell that story and give that feedback and that experience to other students.
Looking at the employer side of things, I'm guessing that you have a lot of employers that were very pleased with the turnout, some of them looking forward to coming back, a lot of them looking forward to coming back this year, maybe some new ones. What has that relationship with these companies and employers and things like that been like, and how has that kind of grown and developed? And especially with the agribusiness side of it, once it became clear that you were going to join with this, was there a lot of like excitement on that end of it as well, of like, yeah, we definitely want to be a part of this?
Absolutely. Some of the companies attended previous years to our own career fair are coming back, and we also have new companies joining us as well. And when I look at the registration, some of them registered for equine and agribusiness or distillation and agribusiness. It tells you that they're really interested in that both spaces. So I feel like we are meeting that need, but maybe we didn't know about it before. And one of my favorite things about the recruiters too are former students now on the other side of the table. And I just love seeing that. Like maybe last year they were on the other side seeking that employment. So it's really good to have them back on campus. And our students also feel very comfortable approaching them, knowing well that they were there last year as a student.
Yeah, that seems like a huge testimonial to be able to say, I was where you are right now, and let me just be an example that you can make it in this, and there are opportunities there. So,
and another thing I like about our career fairs in general is a great networking opportunity. And those HR recruiters or the employers that come back, agriculture is a small world. I mean, it's a big industry, but very small world. Everybody knows everybody. And then if the student does really well with an interview, but they did not have that position for that student at the time, they tell this other HR person, hey, I met this great student at UK, and we don't have anything, but I know you have something for this person. So they connect the student with another company. So for me, the students really need to go there and introduce themselves to as many employers as possible and have that network developed. I also encourage our freshmen to go because, their first year, they don't know. And I tell them HR recruiters have amazing brain. They remember you. If you attended the first year and the second year, they will remember your third year and fourth year. So I tell them, just go introduce yourself, get to know these people because they're going to remember you because you did that first initial step as a freshman.
That's a huge misconception, is that students, and I consider myself in that, you just think, if I'm moving on to a next 6 months, then I'll think about it. Mm-hmm. But it's such a good opportunity to get some free snacks and go and meet some potential employees way out in advance, start learning and start interacting with them well in advance.
And from an employer perspective, sometimes they'll say, well, I'm not hiring right now, so I'm not available to come. And one of the things that I tell them from their side is that if you're not there and in the room and present, a student doesn't even put you on their radar that that's where they want to go. And so when they're starting to think about, especially if they're wanting to hire and recruit the highest quality talent, being able to get in front of some of these students early on and in front of the freshman, and the freshman says, you know what, that's where I want to go in 4 years. That's where I want to do my internship in 3 years. So that student is building that rapport and building that skill set over time. And if you're not in the room and they don't see you or have that experience with you, then at the same time, they're not going to be putting you on their radar to go to them. And so you may send us information about your job posting, but that's not necessarily what they're thinking about because they didn't see you then 3 years ago. So I think there's a good benefit to that on both sides, is just being present, networking, building those relationships, having that culture of this is all about elevating the level for everybody, and being able to establish those relationships.
And having multiple touch points, I think, is a key. If they see these people at the HR panel, like the networking event or career fair, they're going to remember them. It's going to put them resume on top of the pile.
It would seem to me kind of informative, too, as far as students being able to see where trend lines are among these employers and where the job opportunities are based on the different areas. So maybe, for example, in the spirits area, where there may be some downturns in the industry on one side, but on this side, this is where we're growing. Same with agribusiness. Same, all of these where it's like, well, this part is, this part of the job market is kind of cooling a bit, but we're really seeing some growth in this area. And so then it provides this opportunity for students to kind of see a bigger picture of like, I thought maybe I was going to do that, but this looks like it's really substantial and there's something for me there.
And it's easy for us in class to tell students, oh, there's opportunities here, or, hey, did you think about this? Or, oh my gosh, there's 100,000 different things that you can do. But when they walk in that room and they really see it, to see their evaluations, and like we have them reflect, all of our freshmen that we have them write a reflection, and every single one of them is like, I had no idea. I have already told you that they're there, but the being able to experience it, it's like your parent, telling you something, but then somebody else is coming and like being able to tell you the same thing. It is so impactful and just changes the perspective and changes their outlook too, and really helps them in some ways feel confident in their degree program and confident in their choice, and really that coming to UK was the right fit because here there are opportunities for me. They're not going to have to maybe wonder, am I going to be able to get a job when I graduate? So hopefully they call their parents when they leave and they tell their parents, hey, there's so many different things that I can do. We made the right decision.
So from the perspective of, the Martin Gatton College of Agriculture, Food and Environment, putting on this, Kentucky Signature Industries career fair, very important for students to be able to get out and be a part of this and see this. Kind of pulling back and looking, at other areas, the college is focused not just on this event, but day to day, throughout the semester, throughout the year, on preparing students for Kentucky's workforce and for beyond Kentucky. Talk a little bit about how, kind of beyond the fair, how your programs kind of embed workforce readiness into what students are doing just in the day to day.
Yeah, so one of the things that we have done in equine, from an equine side, since we have an undergraduate degree program, is we have mapped skills into their existing curriculum. So we encourage students to go extracurricular to be able to get those experiences, but we know that building it into that curricular experience is where they're going to get the most bang for their buck and where they're going to be able to apply those skills. And then we ask them to really reflect on that throughout their time in the program too. So we've been really intentional about how are we going to do this as a freshman? How are we going to do this for you as a sophomore? And then how are we going to teach you that path? So we've kind of done some of that work in the last couple of years in equine, and we're on the precipice of doing that in the ag economics program as well, if you want to speak to that.
Absolutely. I know in many classes our faculty are not only teaching the subject matter, but they're also focusing on essential skills that students should have before graduating from college with our degree, and teamwork, communication skills, computer data analysis skills. So with help from Savannah, we are going to actually formally map that across the curriculum. And we just want to make sure that we are providing all the essential skills that students need to get. We have an agricultural economics course for career readiness course, and everybody has to take it. It's a core required. We had that discussion this morning. And that really helps students prepare not just for the career fair, but also the careers beyond after graduation. And we're also adapting a new career mentorship program, and as something we are working on. The first 2 years in college at UK, students get an academic advisor, but your junior and senior year, you're going to be assigned to a specific faculty member, and they will be your career mentors for 2 years. And again, helping them with their professional development, career readiness, and what does the life after undergraduate degree look like, hopefully master's or PhD, but also industry jobs as well.
Sort of tongue in cheek, but we got you beat. We built a distillery and a maturation house. We teach out of there. Come visit.
I know the career fair, a lot of times when people think about this, they think about, job placement and looking for employment. This also probably opens a lot of doors for internships and job shadowing and things like that as well, right?
Yeah, and that's really a big goal of it. I think that's one of the things is when we are integrating these things into their experiences as they move throughout their time in the program, each goal that they have, or each year they might have a different goal. Our freshmen going may just have, gosh, I need to explore and identify 5 different potential places that I might want to do a part-time job, or I might want to volunteer, or I might want to have an internship in 2 years. And when our juniors are going, they are applying for internships. They're actively taking a resume and maybe potentially submitting it. And then our seniors are there scouting for what that next step might look like. And so I think that is important too, is to think about where you're at in that journey and how the approach that you take when you're there might look different for every single person.
And internships, I think, are critical, not just what you want to do, but sometimes you find out what you don't want to do for a living for the rest of your lives. And then you find out in 10 weeks in the summer. I think that's really good investment as well. So we highly encourage students or internships, and not just one time. Do it every year as much as you can. Even after freshman year, a lot of companies now open to having freshmen in their internship programs. And I think that will be really helpful for students to seek those opportunities. And the job shadowing as well. I always encourage my students to do so. Maybe a day of job shadowing, maybe a week during your spring break. Maybe take that opportunity to shadow somebody you're interested in. And a lot of our companies in the agricultural industry are very open to that, and they are very willing to give that service. And also our alumni too. They're always willing to help come back to classroom or assign somebody to them as a mentor. It's good relationships are out there, and they're open to helping our students with that.
I did want to kind of expand on that. You'd mentioned alumni before, and you just now mentioned it again. How critical is it that alumni are able to not only to come back and kind of, expand those talent pipelines for students to find these places, but also just bring their passion and their mentorship back? I mean, that has to really, provide a whole lot of currency for that in a sense, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Last semester, we had an alumni guest speaker series in agricultural economics, and we focused on the food industry last semester. We brought 4 different people from our program and different stages of their careers, and it was incredible. Just to see their experiences in our department while they were a student and what they did beyond. And then students were really excited to hear about those career opportunities, and they took different paths. And they just made it real. Again, teaching in the classroom, we talk about all these things, but hearing from the people who are in the industry doing what they are doing. And every time we ask, what did you learn from AgEcon experience? They said they are very successful because of their experience and learning in the agricultural economics program. And they are not ag economists, they are doing different things, but the foundation that we provided to them made them very successful. So we hope to continue with those alumni speaker series in different areas of agriculture. And also, alumni coming back to classroom as guest speakers is a big one. They love coming back to classroom and reminisce about the good old days, but also getting to know our next, generation of ag economists coming from our program. It has been really helpful.
I think it also validates for a student when they can see somebody that was in their shoes. And I know we mentioned that, when they can see somebody on the other side that is experiencing it and then is doing it and they can ask questions too, I think that's validating for them. But also there's that element of being able to maintain that relationship with the employers and understand what are the employment needs. So the alumni being able to give us feedback on, hey, this was really important, or this did benefit me, or hey, I might choose to do this, or you should focus on this, kind of thinking about those trends you mentioned. How do we stay aware of what the industry that we're trying to serve needs from an employment perspective? And the only way to do that is to know who your employers are and to know what roles they have and to know what they're doing and to connect to that. And so I think that there's kind of a benefit to both sides of that. And honestly, leaning into those alumni in that space is really important because they've lived through your program. And now here they are out in the world being able to give that honest feedback to you because they want to see it succeed too.
Yeah, we did a survey together and from our alumni and employers out there, and then alumni respect and respond to those surveys, and getting that feedback is critical. What did we provide? What could we do better? Or what are the needs now for the next 10 years, 20 years? So we can improve our curriculum, like classes and what we are teaching in those classes.
What does this event mean for faculty who are able to, their students are exposed to, innovation and technology and areas of business that have real world applications of the things that they're talking about in class. Is there a payoff there as well?
I believe so. Like whatever I teach in classroom, again, it validates what I teach them. My favorite experience is like I used to teach computer applications in agriculture class, a lot of Excel skills, data analysis skills. And end of year course evaluations, students struggle with computer and data analysis skills. I hear a lot about that. But a year later, they are out in the job, doing their job, and they come back to campus and said, Dr. Spaulding, oh my God, I'm using Excel every day. Thank you for everything. I said, can I have this evaluation now? Because it's a year later, they realize what we teach in the classroom actually do matter. I think that's the highest satisfaction I get out of those, classroom and then real life application of it.
When you look at this event, big picture goal, if you had to summarize, like, what do you want this to accomplish for our students, for Kentucky industries, and for the Commonwealth?
I'll mention a great partnership we have with the Kentucky Distillers Association, and that is a member-driven organization that represents distilleries all over Kentucky, and they inform many of the distilled spirits companies that are global in reach. And so they do an incredible job of connecting the network to the work at the university, which, to your point, is very practical and very workforce driven. And so that's just a really important bridge to draw there. And for a student who's thinking about coming, just getting invited into that conversation is just a great opportunity.
I was going to say connection. That's where I was going to, is really being able to forge those connections and form and develop and grow and bring awareness of those. So from the relationship side to the employers to the students, and being able to see where those all intersect. But also for our students and our alumni and our employers and our faculty to see the transferability of all these spaces and the connectedness of all of them together. I think sometimes we can operate in silos and think that we're alone in what we're doing, but being able to see how it all comes together and how they're all threading together and how everybody is really connected in that way is really, really important. And sometimes we just need to be reminded that. And I think being in that room at that size and that scope and seeing all those people around that have the same mission and vision and really are connected and intentionally trying to grow Kentucky forward is really, really powerful. And so that's connection is one of the things that I would say would be a big goal.
So for students, what should they expect as far as how to attend this? Do they need to register ahead of time? What steps do you need to take as a student in order to be a part of it? And for employers, is there time for, if you hear this, for you to still be involved if you're an employer who hears this and wants to be a part of it?
Yeah, we still have some space for employers. You can register through Handshake. We also have a website that you can go to that will get you to that point. So if you just need more information, if you're a UK student, you can register through Handshake. So you will see lots of QR codes around campus and all information on some slides and web sources. I'm sure people are sending them to you, but registering through Handshake and pre-registering gets you a pre-printed name tag, but you can also show up on site. So if you had a class that got out early and you said, I need to be able to make it, or you got permission from that instructor to be able to leave a little bit early so you could come by, then please stop in and don't let the fact that you didn't pre-register stop you from attending. New this year, we are setting up and we will have a student resource room, which is a new addition to the fair, which we're really excited about. And so that will begin 30 minutes before the fair in the Harris Ballroom. And then we'll go throughout the time of the fair and then be held an hour after. And the purpose of that is to give students a space. If you are coming from a class, you need to kind of freshen up. You need to adjust your jacket. You've not worn it all day. You might need to steam something or get a mint. Maybe you dropped your resume on the way and you need to print a new one. That might be a space for you to be able to do that. But also we are going to be offering free headshots for students in a professional capacity. So you're already going to be dressed up, or you should be dressed up in some way. You don't have to be super fancy. You don't have to be in a suit and tie, but being business casual or in business professional would be a really good recommendation for you. And so going up there and taking your professional headshot but at the same time would be really good. So that's going to be a new resource that we have as well.
I think they're putting your best foot forward thing, like the first impression. So I will also say that business casual, business professional must. Don't show up in jeans or shorts and t-shirt. Yeah.
Is there anything I haven't asked that you feel like we should mention or make sure we put out there?
I will say follow us on our social media accounts too. We are constantly posting about this, how to register, the deadlines and things like that. So that would be great for AgEcon, Equine, and Distillation. We all post it on social media.
Excellent. The 2025 Kentucky Signature Industries Fair will be September 25th from 1 to 4 p.m. at the Gatton Student Center here on the UK campus. So I would like to take this time to thank Savannah Robin, Aslihan Spaulding, and Seth DeBolt for taking the time to talk with us about this. Good luck with everything. I hope you have a massive turnout for this and that it's very successful. It sounds like there's a lot of excitement behind it. It should be a good event, and everybody should be looking forward to it and have a good time.
Thank you so much. We're excited.
Thanks for having us.
Hope to see you there.
Thanks for listening to Behind the Blue. Behind the Blue is a joint production of the University of Kentucky and UK Healthcare. For more stories about UK and UK healthcare, visit uknow.uky.edu.